The Shadow of the Colossus was created by Team Ico, a game development studio based in Tokyo, Japan. The game was directed by Fumito Ueda, who was also responsible for the team's previous game, Ico. The idea of creating a game with a structure that consisted only of battles against giant monsters was inspired by a game prototype that the team created during the development of Ico. The development team faced many challenges during the game creation process. The first challenge was technology. The team wanted to create giant and detailed colossi, but this required technology that did not exist at the time. They had to create their own tools and techniques to render the colossi realistically. In addition, the team wanted to create an open world for the game, which was an even more difficult task in 2005. Another challenge that the team faced was creating a story that was as strong as the gameplay. They wanted the story to be evocative and suggested rather than explicitly told. They achieved this by creating a story that was open to the player's interpretation. Story. The game's story is one of the most mysterious and engaging ever created in a game. The story is told in a subtle and evocative way, allowing the player to discover the true nature of the events as they progress. The game begins with Wander, the main character, riding with the body of a young woman named Mono to an ancient and isolated temple. He is looking for a way to bring Mono back to life and believes that Dorman, a mysterious entity that inhabits the temple, can help him. Dorman agrees to help him, but with one condition, that Wander defeats 16 giant colossi scattered throughout the world. As Wander defeats the colossi, he realizes that he is slowly being transformed. He becomes paler and his hair darkens, and his physical appearance begins to change. The player can notice this gradual change in the main character's appearance. This physical change was inserted by the developers to show Wander's physical and mental deterioration as he approaches the end of his journey. Eventually, Wander discovers that Dorman is an evil entity that is being held captive inside the temple by a group of warriors who are trying to protect the world from its evils. Dorman is using Wander to escape from the temple, and the warriors are trying to stop him from releasing Dorman. The final battle is epic, with Wander fighting against the warriors to free Dorman. The ending is exciting and tragic, leaving many questions unanswered and allowing the player to draw their own conclusions. Gameplay. The gameplay of the Shadow of the Colossus is unique and immersive. The game consists only of the colossi, with no smaller enemies. Each colossus is an epic battle that requires skill and strategy from the player. To defeat each colossus, the player needs to find its weakness and explore its environment to reach it. The colossi are imposing and intimidating, and the scale of their fights makes the player feel small and vulnerable. In addition to the colossi, the game has an open world to explore. Wander can ride through open plains, dense forests, and deep valleys in search of his next target. The world is vast and full of secrets and surprises, and exploration is rewarded with items and improvements for Wander. The graphics of the game are impressive and stunning, especially considering that the game was originally released in 2005. The colossi are especially impressive, with detailed textures and realistic animations. The soundtrack is also notable, with melancholic and emotional music that perfectly complements the game's atmosphere. Curiosities. Shadow of the Colossus is considered one of the greatest artistic achievements in video games. It has won many awards, including several Game of the Year awards, and has been included in various lists of the best games of all time. The development team used a custom game engine that allowed real-time rendering of images without the need for pre-rendering. The game was initially planned to have over 40 colossi, but the team ended up deciding to cut the number in half to focus on quality rather than quantity. In 2018, Shadow of the Colossus was re-released for PlayStation 4 with improved graphics and some gameplay enhancements. There are several theories about the game's story, including a theory that Wander is actually a villain instead of a hero, and a theory that the game takes place in the same universe as Ico. The game has inspired several other games and works of art, including the Colossus game series and the Shadow of the Colossus film, which is in development. In conclusion, if you are a fan of video games, you cannot miss the chance to remember or discover Shadow of the Colossus. This classic game is an exciting and unique experience that has left an indelible mark on the history of video games. If you enjoyed my video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that I can continue to bring more videos like this to you. Thank you for your presence, and see you next time.